Books. You'll hear me, brilliant. So, the web has been colonised by hipsters, and a lot of people like to think this means that they value style over substance, but that's not really the case. It's all about your experience being pleasant and clean. It's about enjoying yourself while you do something like as simple as reading a web page, which is a good trend. To aid this, that's a cycle medium. It's a blog platform that's a little bit hipster because it makes a nice clean page where content screams out at you and it reads a bit more like a book. To support this, there are tools like Bootstrap, which I know Ryan uses on his RAS track and his other projects, and this is about helping everyone create simple information and simple web pages that treat information as king and present it in a way that's pleasant to use. App developers have used this to make very simple apps that include more people. More people use the iPhone because suddenly it was for them, it was simpler, there were less choices. It didn't always mean removing complexity, but by removing some complexity and prioritising the things you want to do immediately, they got more people involved, they got more people loving what they do. Broadly speaking, if you have a simple approach, you include more people without excluding people who want complexity in the end. If you are craving simplicity in an app, you can't use a complex app. If you're craving complexity, you can still use a simple app. So those who need simplicity can't work with complexity. Those who want complexity, they might complain about a simple app, but they can still use the core functionality. We don't have this when we're using hardware. Hardware revolves a lot around PCBs, and while a lot of people here can use things like breadboards, patch cables, breakout boards, data sheets, millions of people in the world will just have no chance. And what they get is things like this. It's a perfectly nice breadboard. There's nothing particularly wrong with it for people trying to do hardware hacking. Somebody coming new to hardware hacking will have no chance with this. It's not very helpful. And the stuff you find inside your TVs and your computer is using the same interface, the same kind of style of design as the stuff that's meant to be hacked, that's meant to be kind of played with. And that seems a bit wrong. That's very exclusive to a lot of people. I find things when I'm using hardware, what I call high friction. I have to spend a lot of time reading stuff, playing with it, looking at what the pins do, before I even get it to work, let alone actually doing what I wanted to do with it. And at the end of the day, a lot of people, they just want to solve a problem, try something. They don't want to fight against just setting things up. The result is, you got a lot of people saying, this is not for me. And that's a really bad thing. People just looking at something and saying, no, not for me, tucking it away. And this gets worse because the Raspberry Pi has been really popular. A lot of people want to hardware hack now. A lot of people want to do cool stuff and tinker. And those of us who are making breakout boards, those of us who are doing this kind of stuff, are failing people like that at the moment. Because before, there hasn't been this call. It's all been about insiders. It's all been about, pretty geeky people. And yeah, we don't want people to say this is not for me. The new software is a great example of reaching out to these people. It's taking time because making things simple is really hard. But News is a great example of reaching out to people and saying this is for you. You just have to choose an option and there you've got your Pi doing what you want. So what we need now is more of a focus on user experience for hardware. Doing things that people have done on web and apps, in hardware, in breakout boards. We've got things here like, this is one from Dangerous Prototypes. It's a power board, very simple, cheap source of power for people doing electronics. It's got huge labels. The stuff you want from the board is right in front of you. You're very unlikely to plug the wrong thing in the wrong place. The things are colour-coded, it's just beautiful. There's no ambiguity for people about using that, so this is a good trend that we need to see more of. Even better, here's little bits for people who are really starting out. You can't plug it in the wrong way, pretty much. Or if you are, you've got really strong arms. And, in 5-6-year-olds, they're not that strong, so it's fine. So that's a good trend. there you lose some of the functionality, but it's for a specific purpose, and it's pretty good UX. It's got colours, it's got functions, and you can't plug it in the wrong way. We also need to make things like hardware, things like breakout boards, more joyful to use. We need to give them more personality. This is an Arduino. Doesn't look like one, but that's an Arduino, and it's one of those things that make people pick it up and go, okay, maybe that's for me, because now it's got a personality, it's got something joyful about it. And here's a badge from the recent Wuthering Bites. Very whimsical. Nothing on there that doesn't match what you need to do with the board, and it's all very nicely labelled in a hand-drawn style. And the other side of that we need is docs, helpful ways to learn about these. What we have is, here you've got people sharing knowledge very freely, and it's great, but it's kind of one-to-one or one-to a roomful here. Whereas if you go to things like A-Fruit's Learning Centre, you've got beautiful tutorials here that really take it step by step. You've got videos that go alongside it, and that can teach millions of people that you really can't do person to person very well. So we need more of this stuff. SparkFun have a very similar thing. And the other thing that people here can do is blog. Blog all the time, share things the way you learn them, share them the way you want to see them on the web. Say things in a different way, even as simple as putting an LED and a resistor together, because not everybody learns in the same way, and your particular way of looking at things, your particular slant in your brain, may be just the way somebody else thinks who's struggling to use this stuff. So a YouTube video is a very good way to help people. And I think we here, the hackers here, have a responsibility to improve the way we do our breakout boards, to improve the way we do our products, to be really clear for users and make sure that the things they want to use first, that achieve what they want to achieve with the board, are really obvious and clear and more helpful than the old way of doing things. And then more people will start using it and enjoying it, and they'll realise that it's what's inside that counts. Thank you.